So exciting news. I mean, it's been a kind of exciting news for the past few weeks with regard to Elon Musk. He is trying to take over, basically buy out Twitter. He offered $43 billion to buy Twitter. He's already a 9.2% owner in shares in that company. But he so far hasn't been successful. Brock, what's going on there?
He's trying to buy into a private club that doesn't really want him. The media elites think that he's a gadfly and sort of a pain, and he could put his 43 billion to great use for society. He's already done Tesla and trying to send people into space. I think 43 billion can go a long way elsewhere. Also, the future of internet messaging and conversation is moving away from the public sphere. People are moving towards group chats and moving towards messenger apps that protect their privacy. The problem with Twitter is it's out in the public and is dividing society left and right as people argue endlessly all day long.
So is that division that bad, though? I'm going to ask you, Brock, as a follow-up. Is division really that bad? I mean, people maybe had these interior opinions and now they're just voicing them publicly. What's wrong with that?
I think it leads to people being canceled. I think that's why quite a few on the right, older men in particular, are abandoning the platform. The vast majority of people never tweet, and I think that's part of the point Elon Musk is making, is that the most popular users don't tweet. It's a platform that's dying. He's trying to rejuvenate it and give it some life, but it's already losing advertisers. It's struggling to keep attention, and without Donald Trump as president of the United States, the daily urge for people to go on Twitter has declined.
So, Hannah, let me ask you this. When I see Twitter, I mean, it is, yes, it's publicly traded, but it's a private company. It's why should someone have to, there's been a lot of concern about censorship and free speech on Twitter, and I get that. I'm a big proponent of free speech, but is it our right, or is it the right of Elon Musk? Is it his prerogative? Is it his responsibility to go and police free speech in a private company like Twitter?
Well, I don't know if he actually intends to buy Twitter. He seems very serious about it with, the statements he puts out and his desire to, buy, all the shares, everything like that. But at the same time, he's extremely wealthy, and he enjoys having fun with people, and at their own expense. So, I'm sure that he's well aware that the Twitter, board and the CEO and all that, they're not stupid, and they have many plans when situations like this come arise, when someone wants to own a huge percentage of the stock, or even buy over Twitter. I don't know if they've ever had this before, so they're kind of scrambling, and it's fun to watch it happen. But it's interesting to see so many left-wing people crying out saying, oh, there's no censorship online, and Twitter, they're not censoring people, that type of thing. Freedom of speech is not at stake. Whether they're the same people who say that we shouldn't be able to say what we desire and what we believe without facing repercussions. So yes, Twitter is a private company, but they still have to abide by certain laws. And that's, one of the huge issues right now with companies that get so big, and even Congress can't even control them or, moderate what happens in terms of censorship on their platform and that type of thing. So many of these people don't care about, the censorship happening on the platform, and they're more concerned about Elon Musk trying to open freedom of speech up for more people. That's not the issue. The issue is the censorship that's happening right now.
So I guess, again, I'll let you have a chance to take a stab at this, Brock, but, hearing what you said, Hannah, that, Congress can't control it, but why should Congress control it? Yes, sure, if Twitter's going around censoring, then wouldn't the fruits of that kind of censorship just be laid bare, that people say, well, you know what, I've had enough, I'm walking away, which is what is happening. So let them suffer a death. Let them suffer a slow death by 1,000 cuts if people are just going to walk away from that kind of... Won't the market command what they want? Brock?
The government's been trying to regulate the internet since they discovered it was there. And I think that part of the problem is government doesn't know how to deal with big technology. Twitter is one of the biggest tech companies out there, and they're struggling to figure out what to do with it. They're concerned about free speech, particularly when it affects their free speech, but they're more concerned about how society is out of their control. And I think that's a bigger problem for government, that government no longer has the sway with the general public, and things like Twitter and other tech companies have a bigger impact on people's daily lives.
Well, I will argue that companies like Facebook and Twitter, though, are working hand in hand with particular governments like the Biden government, and Democrats and stuff like that, to influence election, to sway voters, to censor speech. So I don't think they're competing against each other in certain cases. Like right now, they're in many ways working hand in hand.
Wow. Well, I guess we're going to have to keep our eye on this and see what will happen. Vanguard stepped up and is now actually the majority shareholder. They have the biggest stake at 10.3%, but it looks like some pieces are being moved very quickly to kind of block Elon's future moves. So we'll have to keep an eye on that. We'll be right back in just a few moments.